How is the infiltration into the top secret base going?
Colonel, the clap of my janky decks are alerting the guards to my position. I think I'm about to be caught.
It seems like you need to subscribe to Mana Moot. He posts all the best decks, so you'll no longer need those janky piles.
Wow, thanks, Colonel. Now that I no longer have to worry about what deck I'm bringing to Commander Night, I can focus on saving magic again.
Wait, look out for that!
Colonel, looks like I found the first gang member. Any tips?
Greetings, Planeswalkers! How you doing, And welcome back to the Mana Moot channel, your #1 source for the Ultimate Commander decks. And today, we're playing some Izzet bugs with the Locust God, a Izzet and 4 colorless 4/4 god that, when we draw a card, we create a blue and red insect token with haste. He also has a 4 mana activation that lets us loot, and if he dies, he is returned from the graveyard to our hand at the beginning of the end step. Now the uncreatives and the spikes will tell you to build wheels with this commander. But they're wrong, because sure, it may be optimal, but everyone and their grandmother plays wheels with this commander, so let's do something different today. That is why, for today's strategy, we will be looking at a storm theme for our Locust God deck. Will we win in a world with Orcish Bowmasters and Shieldreds? No, almost assuredly not. But who said we can't have fun trying? So let's take a look at our lads. Starting our creature lineup, we have Balmor, Battle Mage Captain, who proves to be deadly when you're making a massive swarm of flying hasty 1/1s. Who knew? Dockside Extortionist because we are playing red, and who doesn't love treasure tokens? Laboratory Maniac for combo, and we will be drawing a lot of cards in this deck, so go figure. Next, Whirlpool Warrior, as a way to wheel twice if we need to. Now don't worry, this is our only wheel. We have Witty Roastmaster as a better and worse Impact Tremors. Better because he can combo, worse because he's 3 mana. Perforos is also being used as a pinger in our deck, and usually he is a good game ender because he has a pump once we have infinite mana. For our last set, we have Storm Kiln Artist, which ramps us and does some nutty stuff in Storm. Sage of the Falls, which combos with our commander to loot our entire deck. Luckily for us, it's a May trigger, so we don't have to actually deck ourselves. We have Niv Mizzet Perun for the combo by himself, and he's also just a good card on his own, because of course we want to draw cards, and he does that, and he pings, so perfect. No Planeswalkers, but we are playing a battle that lets us do some degenerate stuff. The battle is going to be the Invasion of Segovia, which once flipped, lets us tap our Locust tokens to cast non-creature spells. Sometimes we can just go infinite from the moment we flip this battle. Next, we have the biggest part of our deck, the spells. Starting off, we have Brainstorm, which lets us create 3 tokens. And yeah, the cards are good too. Consider, which we are playing some spell graveyard recursion, so don't be afraid to drop off some big spells. Faithless Looting to draw even more cards. Strike it Rich to add to the spell count, and with a certain card, it does go crazy. Battle Hymn is great in our deck, where we're planning on flooding the board with 1/1 flyers, and they're all the same type. Dramatic Reversal is for combo, and that's pretty much combo exclusively. Grape Shot is one of our finishers once we go infinite. Muddle the Mixture works as a counter spell, but also as a way to grab Isochron Scepter or Dramatic Reversal, which is what we're probably going to do with it. Chaos Warp to answer the One Ring, or I guess you could use it on something else, but probably not. Deflecting Swat offers some protection for our spells and our commander. Flame of Anor is a beast of utility card, and we are playing Wizards to back it up and get that double choice. We have Frantic Search to untap our lands and draw cards, which is basically what we're looking for in a Storm deck. Jessica's Will, because it is a red staple that makes mana, and or card advantage. Big Score makes us some treasures while drawing cards. Distant Melody lets us draw cards equal to our Locusts, which doubles their numbers, so it's just kind of a win-win. Mizzet's Mastery to overload, hopefully, and try to win the game from there by casting all our spells from our graveyard. Passion Flame does do something similar, but it requires a lot more mana for it to work, so most of the time you're going to have to wait till you have infinite mana to do this. Transcendent Message lets our tokens tap to pay for it, so of course it's perfect. Unexpected Windfall is just worse Big Score. We have Lorien Reveal, which is pretty much here because it's meant to be cycled and then maybe cast with the Izzet's Mastery. Now you can play it in a pinch, but really this card's pretty sweet. If you haven't heard of it, definitely pick it up in any island deck you're playing because it's either our land or it's a draw spell, which is perfect. We have Mana Geyser, which is going to generate us a lot of mana. It's based on the number of tap lands our opponents have, so it does require some finesse, but usually when you play this card you can just win straight up. Time Warp, because sometimes your turns are so fun that you need to have another. Mind's Desire, to appease our gambling addiction. Seagate Restoration, to be a land in a bind or a big draw spell. Now for the last card, don't call me mad, but we are trying to play Enter the Infinite, which is a big ask in any deck, but this card does, if we cast it, we outright win the game most of the time. But yeah, it's a lot to ask for. It is a 12 mana card. It is going to let us basically draw our library, put a card on top, and you already saw lab mana in the deck, so you know where this is going. But that said, it does require a lot of ramp, which we are playing, so don't worry about that. For artifacts and enchantment, we have Lotus Petal, Mana Vault, Soul Ring. Next we have Arcane Signet, Cold Steel Heart, Izzet Signet, then Mind Stone. Thought Vessel, which is maximum hand size, which is always nice. Midnight Clock, which is a draw 7 later in the game, perfect. And finally we have Worn Power Stone, as we are trying to get to 6 mana as fast as possible, so of course we have to play that. Gilded Lotus, which also works with Isochron Scepter by itself, so of course we're going to be playing it. For card draw we have Skull Clamp, Mystic Remora, and Rhystic Study. Next we have Kindred Discovery, but make sure that you actually have the win on board before you play Kindred Discovery, meaning play your lab man before Kindred Discovery. Because remember, it's not a mate. You will draw your entire deck and just lose the game from there, unless you have like a Perforos or something to ping the table while you're making these tokens. For combo, we do have Altar of the Brood, so you mill everyone, Isochron Scepter to make infinite mana. Phyrexian Altar with Skull Clamp actually goes infinite, lets you draw a card, and it technically makes you semi-infinite mana because you can turn all your tokens in. You're generating two tokens each time. Pingers in our deck are Goblin Bombardment to finish players off, and Impact Tremors to make the damage add up. For random includes, we have Lightning Greaves for protection, Sentinel Tower as a finisher, the One Ring is for protection, and I guess you could draw some cards with it. And lastly, we have Ophidian Eye, which is a combo piece. Now for the Timmy includes, we have 1,000 Year Storm, because who wouldn't want to have their big scores copied, Swarm Intelligence for some flavor and redundancy, and finally City on Fire because it has Convoke and making our tokens deal triple damage, or our Grave Shots into Lightning Bolts sounds great to me. For the mana base, just copy the one found in the deck list in the description of this video. Good lands to include are going to be lands that let you draw cards. For example, Desolate Lighthouse, Gyre Sanitarium, or these Cycle lands. There are quite a few combos in the deck, and I won't be going over all of them, but I've selected a few to show off, and the rest is for you to discover. The first combo is a bit of a 2-for-1, as I'll show you an infinite mana combo and how to win with it when your hand is empty. So for the combo to work, we will need Isochron Scepter imprinted with Dramatic Reversal and a Rocks or Rock that can tap for a total of 3 mana. Our commander can be on the battlefield or in the command zone, and we have an empty hand. So Isochron Scepter makes infinite mana because after our Mana Rock taps for 3 mana, we can use Isochron's ability and play Dramatic Reversal, untap all our artifacts, netting 1 mana each time. Then we can cast our commander and use their loot ability to put cards into our graveyard until we mill Past in Flames. Then we can either storm to win from there, or use our Locust we've been making the whole time to swing and kill a table. I would recommend the storm win, as it is safer since our opponents may have too much life. The second combo works with Roastmaster, Ophidian Eye, and our commander. So we'll need Witty Roastmaster on the battlefield with Ophidian Eye attached, and our commander on the battlefield. Now once we draw a card, we start a chain that can't stop. Roastmaster will deal damage to each opponent because we made a token, and then we draw a card from Ophidian Eye's trigger, and because we drew a card, we make another token, and it starts that whole loop again. Now we will deck ourselves, but luckily our opponents have 40 lives and our library is usually around 193 cards, right? So hopefully they die before we deck ourselves. Now obviously if the Oloro player is already over 100 life, don't use this combo, but remember it's similar to Kindred Discovery. You just need to make sure that you have a way to win the game on there, and then it will forcefully draw your deck for you. That's going to do it for today, guys. I hope you enjoyed, and if you made it this far in the video, I want to thank you personally. If you have a commander you want covered, leave it in the comments or in my Discord. I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace!